turn on Do Not Disturb.
Universalist Church. We're glad you joined us for worship today. Whoever you are, whatever your theological, spiritual, political, sexual, or racial orientation or gender identity, you are welcome to worship here and become part of this community. This morning, we will be an intergenerational service. This will be all ages. We'll do a quick address, run through our usual service, and then we will have all ages reading and an activity. Are there any announcements this morning?
I just wanted to thank everybody who over the summer helped out at the concert series, farmers market, fall festival, all of these that our attempts on. We really needed a lot of new friends in the community and a big impact, and
Any other announcements? So we will open today's service with two readings. They're interconnected. So this weekend, the end of this weekend marks Indigenous Peoples Day, previously known only as Columbus Day. And the UUA last year issued during their General Assembly, the first all virtual General Assembly, like many things last year, a call for supporting the Indigenous communities and reckoning with 400 years of colonialism, which is what I believe that the change that we're starting to see is an attempt to do. During the first all virtual General Assembly annual gathering, delegates of the Unitarian Universalist Association voted for its member congregations to actively name and repair the harm caused by 400 years of colonization in the United States. The vote passed with 94% voting yes. Unitarians have religious ancestry connected to New England Pilgrims. This General Assembly vote calls Unitarian Universalists to be honest about this heritage and work to repair relationships with Indigenous peoples. As a religious tradition, we cannot decide who we will be without reckoning with the truth of who some of our ancestors were, said the Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, UUA president. Building a future right relationship with each other and the earth requires centering the autonomy of Indigenous people and working to actively divest from our legacies of colonialism. On this 400th anniversary of Pilgrims coming to the United States, those of us with colonialist ancestry have work to do. Centering Indigenous leaders within and outside Unitarian Universalism was a key focus of the General Assembly, which had the theme rooted, inspired, and ready. The vote passed as an action of immediate witness, which allows Unitarian Universalists to respond quickly to social issues, encouraging and empowering the UUA's organizing team to take action related to the AIW. Unitarian Universalists will be deep, examining how the structures and assumptions of white supremacy shaped us, said Unitarian Universalist Minister Reverend Dr. Clyde Grubbs. The action of immediate witness calls us to acknowledge our Unitarian and Universalist origins in the settler colonial conquest of North America and provide several programmatic steps for which we can restore right relations with the original people of this land. And so that address. Whereas 2020 marks the 400th anniversary of the first Mayflower voyage, transporting pilgrims from England to the North American Atlantic coast. Whereas the Pilgrims' invasion of the Wampanoag people led to the enslavement of Indigenous peoples on the East Coast and the removal of and genocide against Indigenous peoples across the continent. Whereas many Unitarian Universalist congregations uncritically trace their origins to Pilgrim's free church tradition, a mythos that sanctifies white supremacy and depends upon race-driven Indigenous peoples. Whereas white settler colonialism is extractive, expansive, and based in violent patriarchy, resulting in a preponderance of missing and murdered Indigenous women and creating unsustainable conditions for all living beings. Whereas the Plymouth Plantation, a for-profit corporation with stockholders in London, established a corporate pattern of using police to extract resources from Indigenous peoples, a pattern repeated at Standing Rock Nation and other Indigenous nations to resist pipeline projects and other extractive industries. Whereas the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe, whose ancestors' lands were invaded by the Pilgrims in 1620, and have inhabited and stewarded parts of present-day Massachusetts for more than 12,000 years, came under attack from the Trump administration in March of last year, and were notified that their reservation lands are being terminated. And whereas the administration continues this and other attacks on Indigenous people's lands, sacred sites, and sovereignty, even as a federal district judge has temporarily blocked the taking of the Mashpee Wampanoag lands. Therefore, be it resolved that we, the delegates of the 2020 General Assembly of the Unitarian Universalist Association, call upon the Unitarian Universalist Association and its member congregations to continue to gather in solidarity with the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe, Standing Rock Nation, and all Indigenous peoples struggling to preserve their lands, waters, peoples, sacred sites, and sovereignty. Continue to push for release of Indigenous water protectors in prisons and public policies that criminalize resistance to extractive colonialism and adapt a vision of prison abolition. Work nationally, statewide, and locally on public policy that is decolonizing, such as establishing Indigenous Peoples Day, including Indigenous peoples' histories in public education curricula, and eliminating racist monuments, flags, and mascots. Work to stop and reverse ecological harm in genuine collaboration with and taking leadership from communities most consistently and partially impacted by extractive exploitation of land, water, air, and all beings. Research, identify, and acknowledge Indigenous peoples historically and are currently connected connected with the land occupied by congregations and find ways to act in solidarity with or even partner with Indigenous peoples, and examine practices relative to Indigenous peoples, particularly the narratives regarding UU origins and U.S. holidays, including Thanksgiving. In preparation for today's service, I did reach out to the Native American Indians of New England, who are understandably very busy this weekend. Last I would refer to them, they're currently trying to help Boston plan their last minute final steps for their declaration on Monday. So they couldn't be with us today. They were invited. They may join us some other time this year. They are the organization that is responsible for helping Massachusetts declare today, or declare Monday, Indigenous Peoples Day. We help them in their further efforts, and not just local, they also support national efforts. We'll be doing a second election for the UAINE. These include the tribe whose land is originally what we're sitting on belong to, which is the Mashpee tribe. We now invite you to say hello to your neighbors. Now we'll please stand if you're willing to name the land of Chalice. And please read the word in your order of service. Kindling this flame of liberal heritage and our Chalice community that is open to the presence of the sacred. In the affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is sacrament, and service is its prayer. To work together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity with fellowship. The end of all souls shall grow divine. Thus, we covenant with each other and with God. Language that makes us human. One half of language is to listen. Silence can exist without speech, but speech cannot live without silence. Listen to the speech of others. Listen even more to their silence. We now have the opportunity to share our joys and concerns with one another.
for continuing with help.
I'd like to play a candle of joy for yesterday's events in town. A lot of fun, everyone together. Got to do a lot of arts and crafts with kids. Got to see a lot of painted tiles, like great rocket ship, hearts, puppies, and all kinds of great paintings. Hopefully it all came off of back there.
I have a close friend who's having a very rough time. She's just had a lot of problems with her and personal stuff, so just to help her to get
the others. And I would like one more for all the voice concerns that we hold in our hearts. The purpose of church is to encourage all who gather here to grow more generous in spirit and in action. The great end of all of the world's faith traditions, bringing human beings closer to the divine by acts of creation and compassion. We now take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit, an offering that will support this self-supporting church and its many ministries. The gifts to the congregation will be most gratefully received. So as a reminder, we're going to do two collections. The first one will be for Channing Church, and the second one will be for the United American Indians. spirit of truth, of life, of power, we bring ourselves as gifts to thee. We find our hearts in this sacred hour, faith and hope and charity. Amen.
Here, we're gonna read a story. You can come sit closer to see pictures if you want. Okay, so I brought for Indigenous Heritage Weekend, just a book we have about, called Grandmother's Dream Catcher. We'll try to show pictures after every, it's a little long, but it's a good one. So the deep rumbling growls along the road. The top is slow down and the wind lifts up the corner of my vineyard. Daddy and Mama are taking me to grandmother's cabin way out in the woods by a lake. I am staying there while Daddy and Mama find a home near Daddy's new job in Chicago. When Daddy turns, the road becomes skinny like a snake. I lean back and close my eyes. I picture grandmother in her blue cotton dress with the little flowers I can only see when I am close enough for a hug. Grandmother is Chippewa, like us. She is tiny and brown with dark, shiny eyes that wrinkle in the corners when she smiles. She is almost light enough for me to lift in the air. This is what I will do someday when I am a bigger girl. I will lift my grandmother into the sky. She will flutter and fly and sound like a bird when she laughs as we float above the trees. The Jeep stops. It is night outside. Grandmother opens my door before I do, and I tumble toward her, half asleep. I lean against her as we walk to the cabin. The chilly night wind races through the trees and around me. In the copper pot on grandmother's wood stove, water sickles out and bubbles and boils. Heat pours from the stove, and soon my hands and face feel nice and warm. The grown-ups start talking. I snuggle down on grandmother's green couch and drift to sleep again. This time, sleep is noisy and mean. Scary things that howl, whistle and hoot like the night wind are so close. I scream and reach for Mama and Daddy, but in my dream they can't hear me. Hear me, Mama says as she calls me. Wake up, you're safe. With Mama's arms around me, I am not afraid anymore. I feel her carry me to bed in grandmother's sewing room. In the morning, sunshine is scattered over my bed and grandmother's school. The grown-ups are talking in the kitchen. Mama's voice sounds different. I think maybe she is telling about my bad dreams. I walk into the room and see grandmother holding a small circle of wood. Inside it is a web of leather string. Feathers are on top of the circle. Some hang down on a string with silver beads. Good morning, I say. What's that? A dream catcher, grandmother says. What does it do? I ask. Grandmother laughs. You'll find out. The dream catcher's beads shimmer in the sunshine while I eat breakfast. When I see Daddy with a suitcase, I feel sad deep inside. Mama gets her coat and I run to her. We'll only be gone a week, Mama says as they help me goodbye. I give them my tightest hugs. A week is too long. Grandmother stands beside me. We watch the car grow smaller as we drive down the road. It's like another terrible dream just happened. I feel lost and alone. Come on, child, grandmother says. We have a dream catcher to make just for you. Before you and I had grandmothers, a Chippewa girl had a scary dream, she says. She would toss and turn and wake herself up with her own screams. I do that, I said. So her grandmother did what our people still do. she asked the Great Spirit for help, and she was given a vision of a dream catcher circle. It had feathers on it just like yours and mine, but the inside was empty. When this grandmother hung the dream catcher above the grandchild's head, a spider came down and made the web inside. All the child's dreams were then caught in that web to go to the Great Spirit. Only the sweet dreams were permitted to go back to the girl. Did it work, I asked? Of course, says grandmother. After we finished the dream catcher, we hang it above my pillow. That night, I shiver when I think of mommy and daddy so far away. Grandmother finds me. She sweeps back my hair and she rocks me. I am warm again. Somehow I am in my bed. I only remember my dream catcher floating above my head and grandmother's hands as she tucks my blankets around. When I awake, I see my dream catcher turn in the morning light. Grandmother peeks in the room. I'm happy, grandmother, I tell her. My bad dreams didn't come last night. Grandmother's whole face twinkles around with a smile. We go to the kitchen. Mama and Daddy will like my dream catcher, I say as grandmother cooks crispy fried rice. I think so, says grandmother. In your new house, the dream catcher will be in the room. I miss them very much, I tell her. Grandmother hugs me close. Kimmy, Mama and Daddy will come with you, she says in a quiet voice. Then you and I will surprise her. How will we do that, I ask. We will make presents for the new home, answers grandmother. Each night I sleep under my dream catcher. My dreams are happy and peaceful. Each day, grandmother and I are busy with our work. We sew beads on leather to make hair ties for mom. Grandmother takes me fishing, and I find a special feather just for daddy. We make a dream catcher for mama and dad. But my favorite surprise is the picture I make of my family. I'm sorry. It's a picture. But my favorite surprise is the picture I make of my family. There's grandmother, daddy, mama, and me under my dream catcher. Rainbow colors flash out of the feather. And when mama and daddy come back, that's the present they like best. Okay. And then for an activity, I've set up to make our own dream catchers back at the table.
One last song, and then we will extinguish the chalice. Now, if you'll try some magical.
So